Hi, my name's Bill, and today's story is a true story about a time when a man came to Jesus and asked him the question, how many times does a person need to forgive someone that's wronged him? 1 time? 3 times? 7 times? We'll find out Jesus' answer in our story called The King and the Ungrateful Servant. Now, one day, a man named Peter came to Jesus and asked him, how many times does a person need to forgive someone that's wronged him? You know, sometimes people wrong you over and over and over again. Is there finally a time when you don't have to forgive them anymore? And Jesus said, well, let me tell you a story. And after I tell you the story, you see if you can figure out the answer to that question. Jesus said, once there was a king, and the king had a servant. And the servant came to the king one day and said, I need a lot of money. Can I borrow some money? And the king said, well, tell you what, if you pay me back, I'll loan you the money. And the servant said, oh yes, I promise I'll pay you back. So the king loaned his servant lots of money. But as time went by, it didn't look like the servant was going to pay the king back. So the king went back to the servant and said, hey, where's my money? You promised that you would pay me back, and I haven't seen any of that money yet. And the servant said, oh, I'll pay you as soon as I get the money. And the king said, you know what? I want my money now. If you don't pay me my money now, I'm going to throw you into jail. And the servant said, please, don't throw me into jail. I'll get the money somehow, but it's going to take time. Well, the king could see that the servant was really sorry that he didn't have the money to pay him at that moment. And so the king said, you know what? Don't worry about it. I'll forgive your debt. You won't owe me anything. And the servant said, I don't owe you anything? That's right, said the king. Go on your way. I'll forgive it this time. And so the servant went on his way. Well, not too long after that, the servant met one of his friends. Now the friend owed him just a little bit of money. But the servant said to his friend, you know what? You owed me some money and I haven't seen that money yet. I want my money today. And the friend said, I don't have the money today, but I'll get it as soon as I can. Nothing doing, said the friend. If you don't pay me back the money you owe me, I'm throwing you into jail. And the friend said, but I don't have it. I promise I'll give it to you, but I need more time. Nope. If you don't pay me today, I'm going to throw you into jail, said the servant. And that's exactly what he did. He threw his friend into jail. Well, when the king found out about it, the king was furious. And he said, how dare you do that? When you owed me money, I forgave you. I told you the debt was forgiven and you didn't have to pay me a penny. And you owe me a lot of money. Your friend only owed you a little bit of money and you threw him into jail. Well, because of that, I'm throwing you into jail too. Well, Jesus said, what do you think about this forgiveness question you asked me? How many times do you think you need to forgive someone? Well, Peter said, I guess more than once. I guess more than maybe even 7 times. And Jesus said, you're right. 7 times 7. In other words, all the time you must forgive, even if someone wrongs you over and over again. If they come to you and say they're sorry, you need to forgive them. You know, forgiving others isn't always easy, is it? Sometimes we become so angry at someone that the last thing we want to do is forgive them. Instead, we want to have revenge toward them. But that's not what Jesus tells us to do. And that's a good thing because there's a lot of times when we do things that we know aren't right. And when we come to Jesus truly sorry and we ask Him to forgive us, He always does. And that's what Jesus wants us to do for others too. When someone comes to us and says they're sorry, He wants us to always forgive them. Well, that's all the time I have for you today, but I'll be back again with another Bible story. So until then, bye-bye.